Welcome to the Odd Couple podcast. Been some changes in the background. I know you probably didn't notice, but my name is Peter Lucas. This is my co-host Nathaniel Thayer, and one of us is a very happy man after yesterday's NFC Championship game. Uh, the team that shall be not be named at this moment, but how does it feel, Nate? How does it feel to not only be on your way to the Super Bowl, but to also finally get a victory against a hated rival in the juggernaut that was the 49ers?
Well, I have a couple of questions. First of all, when does your Burrow jersey get there?
It it is Prime. I ordered it this morning on Prime, so it should be here by tomorrow.
The bright orange one, I hope. I want that. I want the orange one on you, dude. That's the one I want.
Hey, I've got a whole wardrobe that'll be here before the end of the week.
Oh, I love it, dude. It feels fantastic. I mean, you get into that game we talked about how the Rams need to do something different, and they really didn't. They sort of came in and just played their game, and you played your game, and what really changed for the Rams is they found some toughness. A couple balls bounced their way. A couple things went your way early on. And I think that definitely couldn't hammer the refs in this one. The refs pretty much let us play. There wasn't a lot of flags, not a lot of, whoa kind of calls or anything like that, and it just sort of, I think the difference between this one and the last one we played is that in the end, we had more gas in the tank, and in the last one, you had more gas in the tank, and that's really all that it is. Again, like I can't sit here and pick something that the Rams did that made me go, well, that's different. They played their game, and in the end, they just had a little more in the tank.
Yeah, I like, and maybe because obviously you watch more Rams games than I do, but I thought that they did what I thought they kind of changed their identity just a little bit, and they almost were doing what we normally do. They used a lot of wide zone in the running game, and it was evident that that in the beginning at least we had to get used to what they were doing because it was a little different than normal. Um, but I think the main thing for us, and like you said, I know not a lot of Niner fans were really kind of upset with the officiating because of the taunting call on Aziz, and but you could look at that helmet to helmet hit that Warner just kind of jumped into Stafford. There was calls that could have gone either way. So I like you, I wasn't really blaming the refs at all in this game. It was like you said. I give the Rams kind of all the credit in this game, and they made the plays when they needed to make them, and that's really what it came down to. You guys had I think that we were pretty evenly matched. I think you had a quarterback that could make plays to elevate your team when you needed it, and we didn't. That was the story of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, we made it. You know what? For the first time in 6 tries, we made Jimmy have to beat us.
Yep.
And that was and you're right. You know what? And it was funny because you mentioned that. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I'm a little late to the game here. I just got home, so I'm a little kind of settling into this. They did run outside more. In fact, me and my son were talking about that. They pitched the ball out. They ran a little bit of wide zone. They definitely ran some stretches. They kind of gave Akers and Michelle a little more chance to see the field because they knew coming straight at you was a fool's errand. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just bad football. I mean, maybe once or twice to make you think it might happen, but we knew that in the end, it was not going to be trying to outmuscle you was never going to work.
Yeah.
But we scored we scored first, and then right down the field you go. You get Debo on that ridiculous wide receiver screen. He hauls off and just does what he does. We'll leave it at that. Well, he just went out and did what he does, and look, that guy's ridiculous, man. I hate that we're going to deal with that guy twice a year.
Yeah, I just a little bit about Debo. Like Debo is, I mean, when you can go to your coach and tell your coach, hey, just give me the ball in this one, I got it, and like and follow through. Like I'm talking about the Packers game originally. He literally went to Shanahan, said there was a video of it, and said, "Hey, just give me the ball on this one. I got a touchdown. I got to get it in the box." And he just runs it, he calls his shot, and just takes it in the end zone. But then, like you were talking about the screenplay, I mean, it's amazing how, because he's a big guy. He's like 5'11", 220.
He's a friggin' running back. Yeah.
But he has this close area burst where like he just hits, like he goes straight from first to like sixth gear in like 2 seconds. And you have like a fraction of a second to get a hand on him, and he might still run through the tackle. So I just want to say Debo is just amazing. Like I'm so glad that they picked him instead of DK Metcalf. Like because I wanted DK Metcalf, but
yeah,
it is what it is. I will take Debo. So,
and you know, it's funny because Metcalf's obviously been a pretty solid player, but when you consider who your quarterback is, you made the better call.
exactly.
If you had a quarterback that could stretch the field, then Metcalf might be the better call. But for what you guys do, you made the perfect call. You know what I mean? Like both guys are definitely, you know, top shelf NFL guys, but Debo certainly works better for your situation, you know. And then getting a little more into it, when you went up 17-7, I know I texted you and said, all right, dude, like it's here we go. Here we go. Your prediction's about to happen. And then you were you were still kind of on the fence. You're like, well, Jimmy's still got time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I told you he hasn't thrown his interception yet. He hadn't had his big turnover yet.
Yeah.
And I was just like, he needs to get that out of the way early for us to be successful, because it's gonna come. It's gonna come. It was like the old Romo days. Like when Romo played, you're just waiting, and because it eventually he's going to throw the ball to the other team.
Yeah, where's the screw up coming? Yeah,
exactly. So I knew it was coming. It was just a matter of when, and it made me nervous because the later we get into the game, the more opportunity it gives him, and that last play was just, I mean, that was a microcosm of Jimmy Garoppolo's whole career.
Right.
Gets you there, but then it's just a nuclear explosion of ineptitude. Like, so.
See, and in my brain, when you got the ball, I'm picturing that last drive last time we played. And I'm thinking, oh God, they left him like a minute 30. Here we go. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to overtime or something. Something's going to happen here. Like, you know, because goal doesn't really miss. So I know if you get in range, we're going to OT. And I'm just like, oh God. And, you know, going back to that 17-7 point, when we answered right away and scored, I thought to myself, well, I don't know. I there's a little life here. They're not rolling over. Let's see what happens here. And then, you know, things just kind of went the way that they went. I felt like overall we moved the ball as well against you guys as we have in quite some time. We didn't finish. The Rams had opportunities, just like you guys had a couple chances. We had some chances to put well more on the board than we did. You know, that Skronek kid dropped that friggin' pass that any other receiver on our team would have caught.
Yeah.
You know,
I never even heard of that guy. I thought they grabbed him off of grabbed a fan out of the stands, like, and put a jersey on him. I was like, I never even heard of this guy.
So he's a special teams effort guy that got a shot because Woodsy got hurt.
Oh, okay.
When Woods got hurt, he moved into the wide receiver 5 spot. And he's been getting some looks, and he's made a couple plays, but for the most part, he's one of those guys where you're thinking, we couldn't find anybody better than this. Yeah. You know, and we got that Atwell kid that we took in the second round that never sniffed the field. He returned punts for about, I don't know, 5-6 weeks, and he was gone. That dude never touched the field again. And he had a little bit of injury issues, but still, like, just a blown pick. When you look like the Cardinals got Rondale Moore after we picked him, like, you see these guys the second round that contributed right away to their teams. Yeah. And then we took this kid.
Rondale Moore would have been huge for you guys.
Oh, I'm telling you. You
like
know,
that kid, I thought he was so underutilized in Arizona. I actually picked him up in fantasy because of all the little things that I felt like he could do when I saw him playing preseason. And that kid. But so what do you think was the tipping point of the game for you guys when you knew? I mean, obviously you said when we got the ball back like that with a minute and 40 to go that you thought we were going to come down the field. But where was the tipping point when you thought, hey, we might this might be it?
The interception. I really like. I had no inkling that we had that game under wraps until that weird throw that Garoppolo made, that just happened to luckily fall right into into our boys' hands there. I mean, I at no point did I feel that game was over until that play happened, and that was it. I mean, really, like there wasn't a tipping point. Like it was a dogfight. You guys let us back in the game, and that's really the big difference in all of it. I mean, there was no point where really you thought either team was dominating the other one. Like even when you guys went up 17-7, like I said, we'd been moving the ball. It wasn't like it was a pistol whipping by any means. The Rams just couldn't finish. You guys would get cornered and you would fight back and you'd stop us and you'd stop us and you'd stop us. We were like between the 20 and 40 yard line, we were automatic. And then you guys we'd get there and you guys would do what you do and you'd toughen up, I mean, and I really had to hold back from making a Jimmy G post.
Yeah.
About 1-6, but the one's the only one that's ever going to count.
Yeah.
That dude.
I just Jimmy, I'll tell you this, even in a loss, I felt like a weight was kind of lifted off of the fan base's shoulders. Like, because man, like I know you don't get on Twitter much, but you should see all season long. The fan base was just going at each other like about, oh, Jimmy's our quarterback, we got to support him, and then you got the other guys, no, he's trash, like, and he's just like, we hate him, and why are they not playing Trey Lance? It was just all season long, and it's still going on. It's still going on, but it's over. That's over and done with. Finally, we don't. Now there's a new guy in town, Trey Lance, who I really think is going to be really good. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we're gonna focus on your guys' win on this today, because I know as you're one of the few fans that one of the few Ram fans that I can honestly say that I'm happy for. Like because I know the agony that you've been going through for a while now, and it's and I think you guys have a chance to right some of those wrongs. Do I want you to win? Absolutely not. But
fair enough.
But I mean, you're still the Rams. But I mean, I wouldn't begrudge you guys a win, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. You always see it differently when it's like a friend of yours. I mean, because you can, guys you don't know, you can just bomb. But when it's a buddy of yours, like, you feel good for him, even if it stings. I mean, don't get me wrong. If it was the other way around, I would have had Bengals crap on too. So, and really, we'll get to the Bengals in a little bit, but again, man, just this, because they're home now. Like this, 99, of course, is always going to be the Rams' year of years to date, where we came out of nowhere and swept you guys after losing 14, 15 straight to you and all that stuff and won the Super Bowl. But it wasn't here. It wasn't here. Like, it was the Rams, but it wasn't here. The LA Rams have never won,
Yeah, they've been bad.
There's not a banner before, 1951. After 1951 that says LA Rams on it, and I want it, I mean, that's what it's always been about is my hometown, them winning it in my hometown. And that's a huge one for me. And I really hope that, I mean, and I'm telling you right now, the Bengals are not a joke.
No,
that is really, if you look at them, it's a parallel. They've got 3 receivers that could start anywhere. Right now, they've got a running back. Mixon's finally hit his stride, and he's consistently playing well. Joe Burrow, I'd put him and Matt Stafford in pretty much the same class. We have more star power on defense, but they're sneaky good, dude. They got Bates. They got that Hendrickson kid who had like 14 sacks this year. Hubbard can push the pocket. Reeder can push the pocket. Like, I'm telling you, to go into Kansas City.
Yeah.
And win that game was like, I mean, I was blown away, dude. When it was 21-3, I shut it off. Yeah. I thought it was going to be 42-17. I really
Yeah.
did. Like,
I thought it was going to be I thought it was just going to be a barn burner, and like it was just going to be neither defense was going to be able to stop the other team. But but I'll tell you this, Joe Burrow, the fact that and I mean, the game before the KC game, he took 9 sacks and still willed that team to victory. KC
mm,
had him dead to rights a couple of times, and he just made that kid just makes plays. And
right.
it's and then of course you got Jamar Chase, who could just, I mean, he's got the physicality, and he's got the juice to just, on any given play, he could take it to the house. And and then they have T Higgins and Boyd, and
Yep.
those guys are just good. I mean, they're good all the way around.
Yeah.
They now, I think a sneaky big loss for them is their tight end. They lost
Yeah,
him.
you put together quite a little season over there, under the radar, because they have,
Yeah,
well, Jamar Chase just stole all the headlines out of there. Him and Burrow stole all the headlines. So,
but
but yeah, man, I mean, yeah, what is it, Asamoah, right? CJ
yeah,
Asamoah, something like that. Yeah,
yeah,
he put
something like
together a
that.
nice little season as a complimentary guy for sure.
Yeah,
And props to Zach Taylor, a Husker, Big
yeah.
12 Player of the Year 2006, and part of the and part of
Somehow I
the
don't think that's going to make the
part
media
of
day.
the McVay tree, part of the McVay tree.
Yeah,
You know,
but they
I
all
mean,
come
you
from
had,
Shanahan.
what's that?
They all come from Shanahan, though.
Whatever, dude. We're not talking about that right now. No, it's true though. I mean, look at the success. You got
Yeah,
LaFleur. Green Bay's relevant every year. You got Shanny doing his thing. You got McVay doing his thing. And now you got, out of nowhere, nobody saw this team coming, dude. I mean,
yeah.
you
Nobody.
could not find a soul on earth that would have called this.
No, no. I mean, Burrow got better as the season. He got more and more clutch as the season went on. And when we played him earlier in the season, I was really amazed at the poise. I mean, because basically this was really his rookie season, because he got
Yeah.
hurt early last season.
Yeah.
So I mean, the kid is just, he's got some balls on that kid, like that. He's not afraid of the moment, and like, kudos to him. I think it's going to be an exciting Super Bowl. You know what really impressed me? I did want to get this out. What really impressed me was, because I don't want to like the guy at all, but Odell Beckham really impressed me in this game, because he took some shots,
Yeah.
and some dirty shots. I'll be the first one to say it. There were some dirty shots in there, and like, he took them and ate them, and it almost seemed like it drove him a little bit. He got even better as the game got on. And I give that guy some credit, because I left that guy for dead.
Well, you know what? They got him in the right mental state. They got him playing in the right mental state. And with him, that's everything. I mean, and we know he isn't the first star to be that way. You get a guy that plays lights out, things turn on him, and he dips big time. Antonio Brown, there's a lot of these guys. And Brown almost found a little bit of life in Tampa Bay again before he became Antonio Brown again. But, yeah, OBJ just really, I mean, losing Woods was a tremendous loss. It just can't be overstated how much it meant to the team to lose him, and to try to put him in that role. And at first it was a little sticky, but I got to tell you, man, like, Stafford trusts him, McVay trusts him, the team trusts him, and he's playing at 113 yards against you guys.
Yeah.
2 100-yard receivers against you guys. Nobody saw that coming, man. Like,
No.
it was definitely and even with all that, you guys still made it a nasty, scrappy dog.
Yeah, I mean, you guys still only scored 20, even
know.
with 200-yard receivers. Like, I mean, because as good as the running game was in the beginning, like, I think D'Amico started to key on that, but then that opened that was exactly what you needed, just a little glimpse of a running game, to open it up for Odell and Cup to just get those intermediate passes. You guys were killing us on those little short zone beaters, and then the little intermediate outs. Like, it was just killing us, because it was right in the little, we would call man, and then you guys would play a man beater. It was just he just was calling the wrong plays at the wrong time, and his timing was off. But it was bend but don't break, and and they still held you guys to 20 points. And in any other game, another offense, another quarterback, probably might have been something different. But I mean, we have Jimmy G, so it is what it is. But
and
what do you
since
think? What do you
since I
like? So
gave
we
love
talked
to
about the game.
Debo,
What was that?
since I gave love to Debo, let's take a second to acknowledge number 10. That
Yes,
kid,
Cup.
dude.
I want to be first to give that guy. He is not just not just a slot receiver. I think that's first and foremost. I think everybody kind of had labeled this Rams team soft, and I was a culprit, and I thought, oh, the Cubs. I mean, you just
I
got to
was a
hit him
culprit.
out. But he took some shots, just like Odell Beckham did, and he came through and just made plays. They tried to get people were saying, "Oh, well, why didn't they press more?" They tried that. They pressed on him, and he was running routes out there. He did K1. He did every single corner on our team dirty at one point, and
Yeah.
it was amazing to watch. The guy was. I think he had some injury issues early on in his career, but this kid is here. He's here now, especially with Matt
Yeah.
Stafford at the helm. Him and Matt Stafford's chemistry is just kind of undeniable at this point, in my mind.
When you think about the records that he set this year for combined regular season and playoffs, you think about the runs that Jerry Rice went on. You think about the runs that Randy Moss went on. You think about some of these guys that had these deep, huge seasons, and then these 4 game playoff runs. Well, the Niners was only 3 games, but because you guys didn't really play wild card games back then. But that was for us. We played the wild card games. But
Yeah.
To have the all-time combined record for receptions, yards, 13 100-yard games. I mean, and he's a 3rd-round kid from Eastern Washington.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't beat half the receivers in a sprint in the NFL. And he's just such a absolute technician. Like no movements wasted. Every route is flawless. Like, oh man, it's
no glitz either. Not a bunch of talking and not a lot of talking. He just gets out there, does his job, and I love guys like that in myself. Like I love guys that get out there, do their job, and just okay, next play. Like I'll do my talking after the game is over.
right.
I love guys like that.
Yeah.
But
how do you see the big dance going? How do you see it going?
So, well, I want to get to that I want to get to that. I'm going to make my prediction at the end. But
okay.
How do you what do you think is the big strength of I mean, we talked about the wide receivers and we talked about Burrow. So, how do you see the Rams stopping Burrow and these wide receivers?
Pass rush. The one weakness they have is the offensive line. And we know we got a couple of 2-3 guys that can make a little noise back there. So really, they got to keep them off balance, which didn't work against Tennessee and didn't work against Kansas City. But, Kansas City, doing it to them. But, yeah, I mean, I really that's going to be it, and we have to maintain our consistency on offense. I think the Bengals can absolutely beat the Rams. There's no way that I'm walking into this going, oh, dude, start printing the banners. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't feel that way to me. The Bengals are sneaky good, and they're like we just said a few minutes ago, they're stacked in talent offensively, and they've got some guys on defense. Again, not a lot of big names. Bates is probably the only name that a pundit would know, although Hendricks isn't he's starting to climb the ladder too. But, like I said, that middle linebacker core is, solid with Pratt and the other kid, and his name's escaping me right now. And the corners, that the kid from Ohio State, that Azwadi or whatever his name is solid.
Yeah, he played well on Sunday.
Yeah, like there's just guys that that you don't know about on that team that can play.
Yeah.
And again, major props. I'm so stoked to see the Bengals there, man. Like I think it's good for the NFL that the Bengals are there. I mean, I really do. Because I
That's
know
the
me and
beauty
you
of
have
the
talked about
NFL.
this over the years. The AFC has been a pit of nothingness for I don't know how long. I mean, it's been a 2 or 3 team show for I don't know how long. And now the Chiefs are just the new Patriots. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, here we go again, the AFC, you know. And finally,
Yeah.
somebody stepped up and knocked the norm out. And, you know, whereas the NFC is a dogfight every year, you got different teams making the Super Bowl back and forth. The AFC's just been like,
Yeah.
you
Well, I mean,
know,
that's a
and
testament to, I mean, they had Brady, and then they had and then you got Mahomes, who's just a freak. They still got Josh Allen, they still got Herbert. Like it's and then you got Burrow. It's all of the up and coming, like the young, and I mean to a lesser degree, what's it called, Lamar Jackson, but they just have so many good quarterbacks in the AFC that yeah, it's crazy. But this is essentially a home game for you guys,
mhm.
so it's going to be really interesting how that plays out because yeah, it's a home game.
Well, I
You
mean, the
couldn't have planned
Super Bowl's
that
a
any
little,
better.
you know, because like at $5,000 a ticket, you kind
Yeah,
of knock every man out of there. I mean, really, dude, I don't know how they fill that stadium. Those tickets were insane. I was looking and it was like, just for our game, it was like, are you serious?
yeah,
So I've heard this is, I mean, I haven't looked yet, but I've heard it's a whole nother step up for this. So I don't know that it's going to shine as much of a home game as it's just going to be a non harsh place for them to play. Because the
yeah.
Super Bowl, you know how that is. People are there, business people and giveaways, and it's always winds up being this sort of hodgepodge of people. It's pretty rare to see an incredibly strong fan turnout for any one team in the Super Bowl. It just winds up
True.
kind of being like a coin flip, like a 50-50 game. But
Yeah, true.
obviously the familiarity of being in the stadium,
Hmm.
being indoors, weather isn't usually a factor in the Super Bowl anyways, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
but especially not in LA.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, it's unique. It's happened 2 years in a row now, which when it hadn't happened the whole time until now.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I see it as a good thing. I just don't know that it's such an advantage that I can write off Cincinnati.
yeah. So what do you think that what do you think the Bengals because they just stopped they just got past Kelsey and uh what is his name, Tyreek Hill, and who was the other they got Hardman, and they got a couple other wide receivers on Kansas
Pringle
City.
guys,
Yeah,
yeah.
Pringle. And how do you see the Bengals? What do you think the Bengals are going to do against Cup and Beck and OBJ?
Well, Cup's going to get his, so they can just go ahead and write that off right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think you make the Rams one dimensional. I think if they can take the runaway, and again, there's no familiarity here at all. I mean, these
Yeah.
teams, not like the last time we played them, it was in London, and that was a whole different team.
Woo.
We were a whole different team. That was the Goff Rams. That was your year. That was the year that you guys went to the Super Bowl. We played them in London.
Hmm.
So again, two completely different teams at this point,
Yeah.
besides a couple superstars for us. But yeah, man, I don't know. If they make us one dimensional and we can't stop them on offense, I mean, they got a great shot at this thing. I really do. Like I don't come into this thing, like I said, with the amount of confidence that the Rams are just going to walk through it. I mean, all that we can hope for as Rams fans is that the show's a little too big for them and they get a little nervous, and they fall way behind and give us a big cushion or something like that. But if they come out and play, which they haven't shown, they
Yeah.
won in Tennessee, they won in Kansas City, so it's hard to imagine them getting too shook up.
Yeah. I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a dogfight. Like, and but yeah, that's why I wanted to wait till the end to kind of to get predictions. What do you think the score is going to be?
I'll go I'll go 24-20 us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my pick was 24-20, the Bengals.
Was it
Like,
really?
yeah, like that was totally my that was my thought, was 24-20. It's going to be similar to the KC. I think it's going to be similar to the KC game. I just and it's a completely, I'm not gonna sugar, it's a completely homer pick. Like, I'm just hoping that the that the something happens, Burrow proves to be the second coming, and you guys sack him like 6 or 7 times and he still somehow makes it past you guys. But yeah, I know it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a good game. And that's what you were talking about, how much you love that we have some different new blood out there. And I think that's what I love the most about the NFL, and is that the parity, the constant even though KC was in, and the Patriots were in all the time, there was always the chance. There was always the chance. I mean, because Philly beat the Patriots, like Seattle beat Denver that one year when everybody thought they were going to win. Like the team. That's the beauty of the NFL, is that anybody that gets their team together and they decide that they can win that day, it's possible. So yeah, like that's what I
Yeah,
love
for
about the
sure.
NFL. But
You know, and it's interesting too. You talk about like the little things, right? That kicker, that McPherson kid that the KC's got. I mean, the Kansas City's. What am I trying to say? That the Bengals have got
yeah,
he's out of control. I mean,
yeah,
he's automatic. And
yeah,
our kicker, who made the Pro Bowl this year, all of a sudden the playoffs has got a little bit
shaky.
interesting.
Yeah, he got shaky.
He kicked that thing up 15 yards wide against you guys from 50, and he was short from 47 in Tampa Bay, which I don't want to hear short from 47 in the NFL. I don't want to ever hear those words ever again. If
Yeah,
that thing's not tipped, I don't want to hear, or you don't have a 30-mile-an-hour headwind coming into you. I don't want to ever hear about short from 47.
yeah, for sure. That's crazy. That's
Inexcusable.
crazy. He's a
Yeah.
rookie though. Who's your kicker's not a rookie. It was the
No, he was
McPherson
in
kicker.
Tampa for a while, and then he came over, and then we signed him. Once Zerline left, the Rams became kind of like a pit for kickers last year, and then we got this kid at the end of last year, and he held over to this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
the Bengals kid's a rookie. Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah, that kid is really, and usually it's the bad teams that get the good kicker. But but yeah, I think it's going to be a great game, and uh I want to make sure that we thank everybody for listening. I'm going to try and get Nate back on right before the Super Bowl, so we can properly break everything down, because we're going to get a lot of stories and a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
storylines before the game, with that after the media day, and we're going to hear, I'm sure, a bunch of stuff that we never knew about these players. And but yeah, I'd love to bring you back on like right before the Super Bowl, and get a full breakdown. Um, think you can make time for us?
oh, you already know it,
All right,
and
sounds
right
good. And
after too.
yeah, I might have to come in with the Bengals chain and like everything else.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, like I'd really appreciate everybody listening. Like, appreciate Nate for coming on
Yep.
today. And yeah, like it's still, even though the 49ers went down, the show don't stop. Like thanks everybody for listening. And until then, have a good night.
You guys take it easy, huh?